Okay, so I do. So we have another. It's just been a sadness all around the last few weeks.
The rule
with
of
people.
threes continues.
I do want to do a quick shout out. This actor I was never a fan of because I stopped watching. I think I watched Grey's Anatomy for the first year, but Eric Dane, who was one of the leads,
he died very suddenly
at ALS, and his. I don't know if you ever get a chance. There's a video he recorded for his daughters. Oh my god, just talking about what he wants them to do with their lives. It is. Oh, it's heartbreaking. So that was sad. But 95 years old, Robert Duvall, Bobby D, just talked about him last week with Open Range, which I did not, didn't know he was. I mean, he's 95, so it's always in a situation where it can happen at any time. But I after he died, I really kind of reflected, and I do the same with a lot of actors when they pass. I reflect on their careers, and I look at their filmography. And I'm like, damn, I really think he was one of my favorite actors. Mm-hmm. Looking at his movies and what he's done, I was like, fuck.
Yeah. Like,
it's just nothing but gold.
Yeah.
Going back to his first screen role in To Kill a Mockingbird.
I was going to say,
Boo Radley.
Like, that to me will, as small a role as it is, I love that moment.
Yeah.
With him as Boo Radley.
Oh.
And it really set the tone for his career moving forward. Because I think he has like maybe 3 lines in the entire thing.
I think so.
But Boo Radley isn't supposed to talk. He's supposed to be all stature, no speech. And Robert Duvall pulls that off so well. I mean, like, the thing for me with Robert Duvall is even in dumb movies, he brings a level of gravity that can help a movie or at least give it better footing. So I'm specifically thinking of Deep Impact.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, here's the thing. I like Deep Impact, right, as a popcorn movie. But I will definitely remember the first time watching it because I knew Elijah Wood's in this and I knew Morgan Freeman's in this. When Robert Duvall shows up as the old astronaut who is inserted onto this mission because they don't trust all the young astronauts. I was like, what the fuck is going on with this shit? And, him being there is definitely an obstacle. Yeah. But at the same time, he's not the reason for it, right? No. He brings a great passion and style to all of that. The problem is the writing around it. And it shows you that an actor who's really good can take trash and still do really great work with it. I remember those scenes and the moments that I remember being annoyed by the younger astronauts and the kind of idea of like, oh, this only works because the old man is here and all these young people are actually terrible at what they do and it's only because this old man is
so
here.
Arrogant.
Yeah. And so like that plot line, I was like, this is stupid. The entire world's at risk and we're going to be doing this whole bicker fest about who gets to push the button at the end of Armageddon. Like, what are we doing? But that wasn't because of Robert Duvall. Like, his performance in that helps to anchor those moments. Yeah. And it's the things that happen around it that don't work.
Exactly. But like I went back and looked at his filmography. I forgot he was in Shane.
Oh my god, I never put together that
he was Ned Pepper in True Grit. So he was the one,
really?
Yep, and I forgot about that. But then you go into he was Frank Burns in MASH, the MASH movie. For those of you who have only seen the TV show, the MASH movie is spectacular. It is a great movie. And then you get into The Godfather Part 2, of course. And then a movie jumped out to me that I've not seen in a while, so I rewatched it. I haven't seen Network in forever.
So here's the thing. I've been meaning to watch Network in full because Network was one of those movies that I would have seen in Goldfarb's class.
Yes.
But I was doing a show. And so I would have to leave halfway through some of the movies to go to practice. And Goldfarb hated that.
Yep.
One of our old professors at MCC.
Goldie.
But that was one of the movies I had to walk out of.
Yeah.
And I've been meaning to come back to it ever since. But the state of the world is such that I can't do it because it's so prescient about literally everything.
Yep.
That I'm like, I can't. I have to live Network every day. At this point, it's like watching Idiocracy. I don't know if I can watch it.
I know, it's
because
so tough.
It's just like I've had to live it every day.
He plays a character, Frank Hackett, who is head of the news division. He is such a scumbag. He's so fucking good. Like, every other performance in this movie is spectacular.
Yeah.
Like, it is a great fucking movie. Everyone goes to the I'm mad as hell and I can't take it anymore part. That's like a side story in it that's kind of a humorous, sad kind of part of the movie. But just watching Duvall, and he is such an effortless actor when it came to all his stuff. And watching him in that movie, and I am actually, they're releasing a 4K Criterion collection. I'm getting it, and if it comes with a digital copy, I'll, of course, let you know so you can watch it. So I rewatched that, and then I'm going through his filmography again. Apocalypse Now.
That was the one I was going to bring up, because especially with
11
that
minutes
idea
he's on scene.
of being a monster that you kind of root for. That's him in Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
He does horrendous things
Yep.
in Apocalypse Now. He does all the things that we are most ashamed over from the Vietnam War. And you're kind of like, yeah, dude, surf's up. Surf Vietnam. Let's go. Like, because he's so infectious.
Yeah.
And he so thoroughly believes that, they are God stomping across this planet, reshaping it in their own image. And it's just like, okay, dude, like, you want to hate him, but at the same time, you kind of understand the magnetism that he has. And the control that he has over all these people.
Presence, like when he's standing there holding the gun and they're getting bombed and he's just, like, it doesn't even faze him. Like, he's just in another world. It's just so fucking good. And like I said, 11 minutes. He's on screen for 11 minutes, and I think it's like a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah.
He's on for 11 minutes.
Yeah.
And he's the most memorable. Well, I do love Brando in that movie. He's fucking spectacular.
Yeah. But Brando, the line that Brando has in that movie that everybody quotes, there is one. I don't remember it. I remember I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody knows I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Yeah. I mean, Brando really, the line that sticks out, I think, for most people is when he says the horror.
The horror.
Yeah.
The horror.
Like, he's so good in that movie. But then, right after Apocalypse Now, he follows it with The Great Santini. Have you ever seen that one?
No.
Great movie. He plays a Marine Corps pilot, and it's just about him being this hard father at home, and, like, the kids revolting against him, and it's an amazing drama, and he's so fucking good in it. And then you go to Tender Mercies, which he won his Oscar for. Great movie. Like, if I have to put, and I'm not even going to put the Bradley Cooper one, if I have to put the Chris Christopherson Stars Born with Barbra Streisand, I would take Tender Mercies, which they're both music movies, kind of have a similar feel to it a little bit, the older ones. Tender Mercies, great. He's in The Natural, and I'm just saying some of the standouts. He was in Colors, which is a very underrated movie where he plays a cop with Sean Penn. Great fucking movie. His performance is great. Then Lonesome Dove, which if you're a Western fan, the made-for-TV movie, him and Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
Him and Tommy Lee Jones. Now, it's a lot of different stories. The story mainly with the two of them was so fucking good. And, like, when you think about Westerns and you think about performances and you watch that with, once again, you can not watch anything else of that show with him not in it. The parts with him in it, just absolutely spectacular. And jump in at any time. I'm just going to go through some of these. Days of Thunder. Love Days of Thunder. A lot of it. I love him as Tom Cruise's pitmaster. Just fucking great. Falling Down.
I've been meaning to watch Falling Down. I haven't watched it yet.
Dude.
I've been meaning to watch it for years.
Falling Down, not only is it a great movie,
because that's the one with Michael Douglas, right?
Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
And Robert Duvall plays the cop who's trying to find him. And, of course, it's his last day, and he's leaving the force, but he's leaving the force for the wrong reasons. But he just has that... Like, he can do these movies where you're like, I love this guy. Like, he's so lovable.
Yeah.
And he's so... Because he's so good at just playing a normal person.
Well, and, like, that was one of the things... Because I watched Open Range last night in preparation for...
Oh, nice.
Show.
Yeah, we're going to get...
We'll get into it more, but that was a lot of his character in that movie.
Yeah.
Was just this guy who, when you first meet him, he seems so gruff and aggravated and unlovable. And then the more you hang out with him, you're like, oh, you're just a teddy bear.
Yeah, just a sweet guy. And then you hear the sadness about his past,
Yeah.
but we'll talk about that. You know, you get into some more of the modern ones. Phenomenon, didn't love the movie, but he was great in it. This one really jumped out at me. When Titanic was up for the Oscar, I had seen Titanic. And I'm sorry for those of you who love it. A, the special effects don't hold up very well like they used to. B, it is a melodramatic pile of dog shit.
The iceberg shows up for like 10 minutes at the end of the movie.
But like all of the acting in it is like cringe, blow my brains. I remember watching it going, this is the worst fucking... Like the main villain, the Billy Zane character.
I was about to say, you don't like Billy Zane?
It's like if he had a mustache and was curling it throughout the movie,
he just steals children and tries to jump off the boat. Well,
so
you don't
bad.
like Billy Zane?
The same year that movie was up for the Oscar, I saw The Apostle with Robert Duvall.
Is that which one is that?
It's where he's the preacher and so spoiler, it's 97. In the beginning, he's married to Farrah Fawcett and she cheats on him. And he's this big, like, tent revival preacher, and he kills her lover in front of everybody with a baseball bat. So he has to flee. So he flees down to the south, and they use actual people, not actors, in this movie with him. But Billy Bob Thornton's in it too. But he, like, baptizes himself in like the Tennessee River, and he becomes this preacher for everyone down there. Mm-hmm. And it's, Al, I can't, like, you know me. Anything religion, typically, I despise.
Yeah.
This movie is fucking amazing. He is so fucking good. I believe he wrote and directed this, too. I'm not 1,000% sure, but I know he directed it. I can't remember if he wrote it or not. Yeah, he wrote and directed this movie. Dude, it's a spectacular movie. And so when fucking Titanic won, and I'm like, that's it? The Oscars don't mean shit? Because they obviously don't care about acting.
Yeah.
It's a spectacle, and they, for the one time in their whole fucking lives, they gave the award to spectacle instead of quality.
Well, like, that's the thing, is that going off on a little bit of an Oscars rant, especially with the nominations that have come out this year, there's a lot of people that are like, for that? Really?
Yeah.
And the reaction is always the same. It's always been the same since I was a kid. Well, it's not really for that. It's for this other thing, but then they didn't win, and everybody agrees that they should have won. Yeah. This is a Leo DiCaprio thing over and over again. He gets nominated for something, he doesn't win. 5 years later, everybody agrees he should have won. And so 10 years later, he wins for The Revenant, which isn't even close to one of his best performances. Yeah. But hey, we needed to get him one. This was his chance. This was his one shot. He took it.
That was always the Scorsese Departed.
That was the next one I was going to say. Was like, there's so many people, a lot of people who say The Departed isn't a good movie. I think The Departed is a good movie, but my problem with it is the same as, ironically, my problem with The Joker, which is to say that it's a good movie, but the original is much better. Yeah. Infernal Affairs is a really good Chinese movie. And if you haven't seen it, it's really good. And it's essentially just The Departed. And it's like almost shot for shot The Departed. And so it's like, does Scorsese deserve to win for The Departed? I mean, yes. But he really deserves to win for Goodfellas, Mean Streets, Gangs of New York, all these other movies. Although Gangs of New York, I was kind of Gangs of New York for me hung around half an hour too long. That movie needed to be trimmed back a little bit. It just hung around a little too long for my taste. But, like, again, there's so many other movies, Taxi Driver, so many other movies that should have won for Scorsese that didn't. And so they give it to him for Departed because that's when the tide opens and you have this chance to walk through. And, you know, I kind of look at this year and I see a lot of the same stuff of just like, well, Coogler probably should win for Sinners, but I have a feeling that Paul Thomas Anderson is somehow going to win for the Leo movie this year, one way or another, whatever it's fucking called. Which I can't watch because, like, the whole thing just makes me... The entire reality of the situation. It's
like the movie Civil War. I can't
do it. I already have to live this every day. Yeah. I have to dread this every day. I can't watch a dramatized version of actual real life. Yeah. I can just look at the bad news that I see all the time every day, and I'll be able to do that just fine. Thank you. And so... like, you know, and even Paul Thomas Anderson, you can make the same arguments. Like, oh, you know, Boogie Nights or The Master, all these other movies that he should have won for, but didn't. Oh, so now he's going to win for this and keep Coogler and Del Toro. Del Toro's not even on the block. Coogler's...
which, it still blows my mind.
Like, there's just so many things that blow my mind. Why is Chloe Zhao nominated again? I'm not saying Hamnet's not a good movie. Yeah. What I am saying is that she already won for Nomadland, which was a movie nobody really cared about. And then this is again, very personal, I'll admit, but she came in and was supposed to save Marvel with the Eternals. Oh, this was going to give Marvel the moment of class that they needed. Finally, they were going to have this big, artistic female director that was going to save everything. And it was a trash fire. And I'm not saying that's entirely her fault, but she was more than willing to put her name to that and say that she was the director of that fiasco. So I have to put the blame somewhere. And now she's
Yeah.
Hamnet? For Hamnet, okay, I guess. But like, again, I said this when we reviewed the Oscar nominations. I just feel like, and this is a feel like statement, but I feel like the directorial weight of Hamnet is not nearly as great as the directorial weight of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
I look at the work that both of those movies would take on a directorial level, and I say, well, this one has all of these elements, and this one is a period piece. I kind of feel like this one's more impressive than this one.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Hamnet. It smacks so heavily of Shakespeare in Love. Like, again,
Yes.
it's just like these movies.
And that's the thing, is they need to understand the difference between spectacle and a great movie with spectacle.
Yeah.
Like, a great movie with spectacle are the ones that should win.
Return of the King, a great movie with spectacle.
Yes.
You know, so you can do it.
Yes.
So you do make food, to quote Brendan Lee Mulligan. So we do make food. We can do this. We just actively seem to choose not to prioritize it because we want to be popular with certain people in the industry. And the fastest, easiest way to do that is to nominate Matt Damon for The Martian in a comedy role.
Which is nuts.
Again, I know that's the Golden Globes, but it's the same premise. It's the same premise. And while the Oscars have greater cachet, the premise and policies are essentially the same. You're trying to get popular with certain people, and so you nominate them for things, and you say, we'll give you a nomination. We'll give you a win for this movie that isn't even your best movie, but because of the circumstances, you can now get an Oscar too.
Yep.
That's why we get excited when, like, Brie Larson or Alicia Vikander win, and you're like, this came out of nowhere. I don't even know where this came from, but I'm really excited that it happened, because who could have ever predicted that? Or Jamie Lee Curtis winning for Everything Everywhere. Like, great, do more stuff like that.
Yeah. Having
Everything Everywhere win everything that year. You want to talk about both spectacle and style.
There you go.
That's what we're looking for.
Yep.
And it's not that you don't have movies this year that have spectacle and style. It's that you've weirdly decided not to elevate them.
Yep.
That's the part that we're confused by.
And it should be a 2-film race between Frankenstein and Sinners.
Yeah.
Because those are the two movies that, once again, like you said, Hamlet might be great, but it is going to be a good movie.
Yeah.
It's not going to have that other thing that people want.
The spectacle is going to be the romance between the two lead characters and the son dying and all these... Sorry to spoil Hamnet.
Yeah.
The whole thing is just that their kid dies, and now you have to watch William Shakespeare go through the death of his son and then write Hamlet at the very end of it. And it's just like, okay, cool,
it doesn't
but like...
scream a movie that...
I just, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that this is very good for a specific group. You know what I really like about Three Billboards is that it is a very similar story of tragedy, but it has a ton of really complicated, different characters, all of whom are tough to root for. The most likable character is the police chief that won't do anything.
Yeah.
He's the most likable character of everyone in that. And maybe Lucas Haas, who is the brother who is just trying to get through high school. He doesn't want to deal with all this. He doesn't want to deal with his mom's mental breakdown. He doesn't want to deal with this racist cop. He doesn't want to deal with this small town. He doesn't want to deal with Peter Dinklage. He just wants to get through high school. And those moments, I love that movie for that. Like, it's tough. There's a lot of people you don't like. There's not a lot of really good people. Even the victim isn't a good person. Not to say that she deserved what happened to her, but just to say that as the story goes on, you learn more and more about her too. So, like, again, you do have one big explosion in fire in that movie, but by and large, that movie is about the pacing and the characters and the mystery at the center of it, and these people in this town and this community. And when I see Hamnet and I look at the trailer for Three Billboards, I don't, even though you could argue that these are kind of in the same vein of, like, you know, a tragedy Oscar bait kind of film, one of these looks way more interesting to me than the other one. And I wanted to memorize Hamlet when I was in high school, and I'm saying that. Yeah. Like, I love Hamlet. Hamlet is one of my favorite pieces of all time. It was a seminal piece for me in high school. I look at this and I'm like, I want to care about it, but between one thing and another, I'm having a hard time saying yes and to this. Yeah. So it's just, I don't know.
I see what you're saying on that. All right, so now we need to get back to Bobby Duvall.
Bobby D. We got to talk about a cowboy and a cowboy.
We got to talk about Open Range. So it's a 2003 movie directed by Kevin Costner.
Which is why, now that I know that, because you told me that, but I had forgotten it. But knowing that and hearing it, that's why he becomes the central character halfway through the movie.
Yeah, I mean, but what I love is he is the central character, but he's also not the most revered character.
No.
Which is what I love, is he allows Boss Spearman, Blue Bonnet Spearman,
to
be the most revered character.
When that moment happened, Kelly just looked at me and she's like, that so sucks. Your name is Blue Bonnet? That sucks.
But I love how he says, if you tell anybody, I'll kill you. The look on Costner's face is the best because he doesn't know how to react to it. He's like, okay.
He's like, well, my favorite is when he's like, okay, so this is my full name, and I want to know your full name. And the boss is like, and he's like, come on, tell me your name. And he's like, and he's like, tell me your name. He's like, Blue Bonnet. And Kevin Costner almost looks like, you're fucking with me.
Yeah, there's no
what are you talking about? I asked you what your name is. My name is Blue Bonnet. I don't know what to tell you.
I love it. So this movie, and what I love the most about this movie, well, I kind of gushed on it. So let me hear your take on it, because I gushed on it.
I like this movie. I see, going back to our last conversation about pacing, I really see what you were talking about when it comes to the Western pace.
Yes.
And in comparison to how movies are paced now. Modern pacing.
Yeah.
The pacing on this is so slow.
Yeah.
I think the best way I can categorize it is after all of the action happens and we have a resolution on everything, there's still like 10 minutes left in the movie because we have to resolve Costner and Annette Bening's relationship. And it's not done quickly. Like, there's so many movies where she goes to him after everything that happened and he's like, I'm a monster. And she's like, no, we can work it out. You're fine. You don't have to feel bad about killing these people. And he's like, no, I'm a monster. She's like, no, I love you. And then they kiss, and that's the end of the movie. No. This movie ends with her going to him and him being like, I'm a monster. And her being like, no, but you can stay here. And him being like, I need some time. And so we see him take time, an undisclosed amount of time, and then he comes back and he's like, I love you. And she's like, I love you too.
Yeah.
And then we still see them go off on a cattle run. Like, it takes time. It's like 10 minutes, whereas it could have been like 2 minutes. It's like 10 minutes of them going back and forth.
But that is the classic pacing.
Exactly.
They want to resolve every one of these character stories.
And not in a rush.
No.
Even when Michael Gambon dies.
Yeah.
And Boss walks up to him and is like, I could kill you right now, but you're going to die in 10 minutes anyway.
Yeah, I'd rather you bleed out.
So I guess I'm just going to let this happen. And it's just like, awesome. That's the entire movie. It's just like, I could do something about this right now, or I could just let it resolve itself. So I guess I'm going to let it resolve itself instead.
Oh, I got to say, do you see what I mean about the visuals, though?
Yeah.
Like, the scenery is gorgeous. I think
really
they
great.
filmed it in Canada.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And then the child, Diego Luna.
I was going to say, the baby Diego Luna. I love, like, at the beginning, I almost feel like Diego Luna was too old for this role at times. Because, like, he's supposed to be this child who is right at the end of childhood.
He was supposed to be 16.
He's supposed to be 16. But the way that he acts is so childish, and he doesn't realize how childish he's being, which is the point, right?
Yeah.
So you have this whole thing at the beginning when we meet all four of the men, where he's blatantly cheating at cards. And it's not even the guy that he's looking at the cards of who cares. It's Kevin Costner who gets really, 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 really upset about this. And like kicks him into a stream off his horse, mad about it. Like 2 days later, like still mad about it. And I just, like, there were just moments where I was watching it and I it works as I think about it, because, like, in one way Diego Luna is a child and doesn't realize what he's doing. But in another way, he's also, by frontier standards, a full-grown man and needs to be a man.
And he's part of this group. And Costner's like, if you're going to be part of this
if you're going to
group,
be here, you need to be a man. I can't babysit you and raise you and teach you everything. You need to be a man on your own.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things I really loved about Robert Duvall in this, was that he has this weird, gruff, paternal affection for all four of these men.
Yep.
Where, like, with Diego Luna, he is the youngest, both in terms of, like, as a son, but also as a partner. And so there's a lot of him shouting.
And he really is an adoptive child of Duvall.
Yeah. And, like, we don't know where he comes from.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about
They just said they found him on the streets.
Yeah.
And...
They're asked, is his name Button? They're like, that's the only name he's ever given us.
Yeah.
So we don't even know what his real name is. But that scene at the beginning where Robert Duvall is explaining, like, this is what you fucked up with. This is why he's mad at you.
Yep.
But then also when Diego Luna is given a job he doesn't want, and he starts cursing in Spanish. And Boss is just like, in English, like, stop speaking Spanish so I can understand what you're saying. And like, there's just like this conflict, this push and pull between the two of them, but there's clearly a lot of love from Boss to Button. He cares so much about this kid, but he also just wants this kid to listen to him.
Yeah.
Like, for the love of God, just stay with the wagon. When he comes back from finding Mose and Button's gone, he's like, I can't fucking deal with this right now. Why aren't you here?
Yeah.
And Button comes up. He's like, I was just hanging out with the cows. He's like, but I told you to stay here. And you didn't stay here. And now I was upset about it.
Yeah.
And I'm still upset about it because you didn't do it. And you don't understand why I'm upset about it, which makes me even more upset. So he's like, there's this very paternal feeling of like, I raised you to be smarter than this. And also, why don't you listen to me? And so but then like, you also get that with Mose, where he cares a lot about Mose, and he goes on this vengeance run because of Mose. Yeah. Because this one guy is taken out of his little 4-man group, and he's like, well, then I'm going to kill all y'all motherfuckers over this. And especially, like, you see it so, even with Charlie, where they're partners. Yeah. It really does feel like a father with an adult son.
Oh, absolutely.
Who's still trying to push his adult son in certain directions very softly. So, like, when they leave the house, when they leave the doctor's house after getting Mose, and like Mose is all beaten up and concussed and in a very bad way. And Robert Duvall just turns to Charlie and is just like, pretty lady. I don't know about you, but that's a pretty lady. Yeah. You want to go talk to the pretty lady?
and that they still thought she was married to him and not his sister. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, at first I was like, oh, don't be a weird, creepy old man. But as I watched the movie, I was like, oh, you're trying to get your partner to go back and talk to the lady. You don't care about the lady. The lady wasn't for you. The partner. This was all about finding a woman for Charlie to go and settle down with, because that's his whole thing. Is like, I don't want any of you to be in this life anymore. Yeah. I was in this life. I brought you into this life. And after all this time and everything that's happened, I've realized none of us should be doing this. Yeah. All of us should be in town being blacksmiths. This is a bad idea. We should stop doing it. Yeah. And I do like this movie.
I love I love when, because and this is what I appreciate what Costner did in this is, yes, his character is the guy that's done bad things in his life and he's trying to be redeemed. Where he put Duvall on that pedestal. Like, even some of the shots of just Duvall sitting on the horse and Mose saying, oh, he can cowboy. He's like, yeah, he's the best I've seen. And, they're just talking in this reverence for Duvall. And he did take Robert Duvall and he said, you are going to be the godlike character in this movie. I am going to do the, like, action scenes and I'll have the woman at the end. But you're the one that everyone reveres, and I love that. Especially when Charlie's talking about his backstory. Yeah. Well, first off, you get Boss talking about how his wife and daughter died of typhoid, and that you can kind of understand his feeling towards Buttons. But then with Charlie, where he's like, he just goes on his story about how he was pretty much an assassin in the war, and he did all these horrible things and killed like pretty much everybody.
And we don't know for which side.
No.
We don't know which side of the war it was on. Usually with cowboys, the war is the Civil War. Typically when cowboys are talking about the war, it's the Civil War. And I can't pin Costner's accent in this enough for me to be like, oh, he was on this side of the line. Yeah. So, like, we don't know. He might have been a really bad guy. Like, we don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I agree. Like, Robert Duvall in this reminds me of like a Jimmy Stewart in some of his older cowboy movies. Not necessarily Liberty Valance, where he's more of a good guy, like a type A good guy. But like, I can't remember all of them, but there are a lot of them, especially with cattle and with ranchers, where Jimmy Stewart, of all people, plays the heavy. Yeah. And he comes in and he sees injustice being done in this town, or something happens to him, or he's put upon by someone. He's like, all right, I guess I got to kill y'all then. And like that was kind of the feel of this movie, was just like, Boss goes into town, gets his man, takes a look around, sees how everything is going, talks to Michael Gambon once and says, I'm going to have to kill all these people. Yeah. That's how this ends, is with me killing all these people. And, oh boy.
And he had The line when leading up to the gunfight, when they go into the shop and he buys the chocolate and he takes a bite and then he gives them to the shop owner and he says, "You ever tried this? We can't afford it." And he just says to him, "It's been sitting in front of you all this time and you to never take a taste. That's a shame."
Yeah.
Like that right there is like.
I love that moment because
So
we
great.
don't usually get moments like that in cowboy movies, right?
Yes.
Like the Magnificent Seven don't go around town relishing in life because they know they're going to die.
They're going to die.
They're too busy getting ready to die. And here, they're like, okay, I know that Michael Gambon is coming back today. I know that he's going to be here in an hour. I'm going to go get cigars. I'm going to hang out with Michael Jeter. I'm going to eat some chocolate. I'm going to tell my best friend my real God-given name. And then I'm going to go die.
Which I believe this was Michael Jeter's final role before he died.
Oh, he was so good.
He's so great.
He's so good in this movie.
Yeah.
I love the moment where he comes hobbling out and they're like, "What happened to you?" He's like, "I fell."
Yeah, they thought he got shot.
I
He's like,
fell.
I fell and twisted my knee.
I got too excited and I fell.
I know you were going to bring it up. The shootout.
Yes.
My favorite part of the shootout is spectacular.
Yeah, it is.
My favorite part of the shootout, though, is they get you all primed for Costner against Kim Coates' character, who is Butler.
Yeah.
And they make Butler, he's the hired gun on the bad guy side.
We've been hearing about him all
Yes.
movie where they're like, "Oh, Mose broke the arm of this cattle guy's main guy, Butler." And like, "Oh, he's a big problem. You better watch out for Butler." Bam!
Shoots him right in the fucking head.
Are you the one that fought my friend? Yeah, I'm the one that fought your friend. Bam!
Yep.
Dead. Okay, moving on. What's next?
So great. So great.
I also love that it is set up as like, okay, Boss and Charlie are gonna, 2 versus 8. This is gonna be that's why they're so sure they're gonna die. It's 2 versus 8. There's no way that they live. And then Charlie is like, "You killed my friend." Bam. And then there's like this quick shootout, a lot of gun smoke. Boss gets shot and is on the sidelines for the vast majority of the fight. Really, most of this fight is Charlie going around town just being a machine and killing everybody. And with a few Home Alone style traps thrown in there of like, "Oh, you thought you shot me? That was just a big bag of flour. And now here I am shooting you in the head."
It was awesome.
I also loved that, and I know that it was a little overdone for drama purposes, but one of the things that I always laugh at, especially in older Westerns, there's 2 things. One, the sound that bullets make when they're shot. I love and also find it deeply funny. The one that I always go to is The Magnificent Seven, which, by the way, is one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. The sound of ricocheting bullets is so funny because it's fucking everywhere in The Magnificent Seven. It's like every gunshot sounds like it pinged off of like 9 rocks. Like it's everywhere every time. But then also people dying. When people get shot, they go, "Ooh, ah, oh," and then they slowly sink down, or they go, "Oh," and they just like toss their shoulder backwards, like, "Oh," and then they fall over. When people get shot in open range, they go flying like 10, 15 feet. Yeah. And sometimes it's not necessarily, it doesn't make sense. But sometimes it does. When that guy gets shot by the scattergun through the wall and flies 15 feet across the screen, you're like, I think that actually would have thrown him like 15 feet.
I fucking love that.
Like there's, and especially when Charlie is killing people, when he kills people and they just get shot out from under their hats. Yeah. And like their hats just hang in the air like a cartoon and fall. It's like, this is great. This is kind of what you go to a Western for, is like this kind of moment. And it's over the top, but at the same time, it gives so much more force to every bullet fired. And
then when it comes to taking out the final baddie, he gave it to Duvall. He allowed him, because Charlie gets shot and he's extra hobbled where Duvall can still move around a little bit.
He has the hero wound of he's just shot in the side somewhere. All he has to do is like put a handkerchief on it and hold it in place, and he can do anything he still needs to do. Yeah.
And then he just dives through the door and they have that nice little face-to-face. And because Gambone's character is so shot up, that he can't really focus, and they just fire at each other, and Spearman just loads them up.
I love that when it's just clicking, both of them clicking. Yes. I also love the moment when Michael Gambon is just on the floor, and he like has his tongue out, and kill me.
kill me.
And it's just like, what is this face you're making right now, my dude?
It's fucking crazy.
I did hear there was a Hot Ones interview with Daniel Radcliffe this week.
Yeah.
Worth checking out. Very good interview.
Okay.
Dude is great. I'm glad of all the 3 Harry Potters, he's the one that made it.
Oh, he's awesome.
Because Daniel Radcliffe is by far the most talented of those 3 actors, by far the most driven, and by far the most imaginative of those 3 actors. He had some great stories about working with Michael Gambon.
Oh, really?
And specifically that Michael Gambon would fuck around until they called action. And I love hearing about this because it makes me really respect him that much more as an actor. And Michael Gambon in general has that kind of mystique.
Yeah.
Of like, you see him as Dumbledore and you're like, well, he's not as good as Richard Harris is as Dumbledore. And he's very intense. And I've never gotten over, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? Like, I've never gotten over
that was the dumbest thing.
Which again is directorial choices, not necessarily acting choices, but still at the same time, I dislike it greatly. But then you see him in Layer Cake, and you see him in Open Range, and you see him in Doctor Who, and like all these other roles that are so different.
Sleepy Hollow.
And he has this, like, I don't even know how to phrase it. Like, Michael Gambon was just able to embody these roles, and if they were dark roles, there was a Maleficent to him.
Okay.
And if they were kind roles, it was a warmness. But it was like 2 ends of the knob, right? So it's like on one end it's cold, on one end it's hot. So like he can either be really warm and friendly, or that same kind of energy can become malevolent. And so like in Layer Cake or at the beginning of Doctor Who. In Doctor Who you see the knob fully turn from cold to hot. Where at the beginning he's so cruel and callous. And as, you know, it's that moment where he's watching and the Doctor leaves. And then it shows up in the movie that is projected on the wall. And Michael Gambon is just sitting there watching his younger self interact with the Doctor, and he says, but that didn't happen. But it did happen.
Yeah. That's still one of my favorite
It's
episodes.
one of the best turns, because that's the moment things start. That's when the ball starts really starting to spin. Yeah. And that's Michael Gambon. He can be so silly and ridiculous, and at the same time be so warm and frightening and powerful in everything that he does.
And it still threw me off when I saw it, because this came out the year before Prisoner of Azkaban. Mm-hmm. So when I saw him as Dumbledore, I was like,
what the fuck is this?
That's so
weird.
What
is this shit? I do like him in the 3rd Harry Potter movie. It's interesting. It goes good, bad, bad, good. He's good in 3, bad in 4, bad in 5, good in 6.
Yeah.
Like, he's not bad in 5. He does what he's supposed to do, which is to be extremely cold. Yeah. That's exactly what Dumbledore is supposed to do, and he holds that fight great. At the end of that movie, you know, you really need to be able to make that not look silly when you're fighting with wands, and he does a great job of holding that scene. But because he's also supposed to be cold, there's not a lot for him to do.
That's true.
And so you by proxy don't like Dumbledore, which again is the purpose of that version of Dumbledore. He has to be not liked because he's actively avoiding Harry throughout that entire story. And then 4 is just like bad acting, bad direction, bad everything. So many bad decisions made in that movie. So many decisions that I look back on, I'm like, at the time I was like, oh yeah, like a hardcore wizard metal band. That's kind of fun. Like an emo metal wizard band. That's kind of fun. And then I look back and I'm like, this is kind of cringy. This isn't great.
I have never had that movie in high regard because that was always my favorite book.
Yeah.
So that one I was the most critical of.
My son, my boy.
And it's like, after rereading the books, and I know this is a big tangent off of Robert Duvall, after rereading the books, I'm like, it would have been so much better if during the not Triwizard tournament, the Quidditch World Cup in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Harry and the Weasleys sit with the Minister of Magic during the fucking thing. I'm like, why do you got to make this weird class system having them sitting because the minister wants to get in with Harry and that's why he's sitting with him? I'm like, I hate that. I hate the decisions they made.
A lot of the Triwizard stuff was bad. Watching Quidditch is one of the fun things of the movies.
Yeah.
And you got rid of it. You have professional Quidditch players playing the best Quidditch of all time.
If any movie they needed to do like a 2-movie thing, it was that one.
Yeah.
Because there was so much. All right, so getting back to Robert. So it is sad. I am happy that we were able to talk about Open Range because once again, it is one of my favorite Westerns.
I really liked it. I don't think it's one of my favorite Westerns because it was a little slow at times. There were a lot of moments where I was just like, okay, we can pick this up just a little bit. But at the same time, there are moments I love. I love when Costner has the night terror.
Yes!
I bought in so hard on that. I was like, oh my God, there's a guy in the room. Oh my God, there's a guy in the room. Holy shit, wake up. There's a guy in the room. And so that was great directing because, like, especially that moment where it's almost prismatic, where there's this overlay and you have Annette Bening and this weird guy in a mask, and then Robert Duvall comes in and you're just like, what's going on? I thought that was so well done.
Yeah, no, it gave that little extra. I mean, it was an unnecessary amount of dread, but it was well placed at that time.
It was very good.
And it led to such a beautiful scene. That scene where, well, because he breaks her mother's tea set. So when they go in and Boss is buying the chocolate, he writes out an order for a new tea set and gives it to Michael Jeter. And when he's reading it, and in the Michael Jeter voice at that poignant moment when they're getting ready for this gunfight,
when I die, take my best saddle and all my best gun and sell them and buy this tea set. I think I like the princess cut, but it's up to you.
And when he, in the very last, he says postscript.
Yeah,
and it's
postscript.
I was like, that's fucking awesome. Oh my God.
I love Michael Jeter in that.
And it's those little parts of that movie. Because you're right. And I think the reason the pacing doesn't bother me is I grew up watching slower Westerns. And that's like, to me, that's the pacing.
Yeah.
But it's those little moments like that, like the Boss Spearman and buying the chocolate, the Michael Jeter and the note, even the final when Costner comes back and says, "I love you," and this is what I want, and that's such a sweet moment, and it's like that's his redemption.
And because it's paced out that way, it's earned. It's more earned than this rushed, like, oh, we just need to get to the denouement of the movie.
Yeah.
So we just need these two people to fall in love, and we don't really care about how it happens. We just need it to happen. And instead, they were like, no. We're going to let this happen naturally, even if that takes longer to
And I love that these are two people in their 40s.
In their 40s.
Who have lived hard lives, and it's like they could never find love.
Well, and like,
this is...
Annette Bening refers to that a few times, of like, I've tried love before.
Yeah. I'm not a girl anymore, Charlie Waite.
Yeah. When he comes up to her and says, "You're the most handsomest woman I've ever seen," I'm like, that is such a Western compliment. Yep. In no world would that be a compliment anywhere else but in Missouri in 1886.
Yep, absolutely.
Like, that's the only place where that would be a compliment. I'll finish on this. I love the scene where they track down the men that have been spying on them.
Yes.
And they hold all of them around the fire. And because, like, that to me is what I want supposed alpha males to be like, is to see a problem and protect the people that it affects.
Yeah.
And to be no business about this.
Yeah.
Like, if you try something, I'm going to shoot you right now. So you better not try anything.
And that interaction when Charlie pulls the gun and Boss is like telling him.
Exactly.
But Charlie's like, okay, I respect you, but this is the shit I know how to do.
I know how to do this. You kill all four of these men and you leave.
Yes.
That's how you deal with the situation. And Boss is like, no. If we do that, we're as bad as them.
Yeah.
And even by the end of the movie, when Charlie ends up winging one guy and nearly killing him, and then he's going to go and finish him off, and Boss is like, no, we don't do this. This is what divides us from the animals. We don't do this.
Yeah.
They are the animals. We are not. We don't do this. But I just love that moment where they're trying to get answers out of the guys, and the guy is like, I'm not telling you nothing.
Wow. And that felt like I felt that hit.
Yeah. All right. Who's next?
So
who wants to tell me something? Because this guy decided not to tell me anything, and now he's concussed. So who wants next?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Kevin Costner is just breaking guns on the side of a tree. Oh. And it's just like, dude, I love this scene a lot. This scene is everything I want.
And what's sad is, and to finish it off, what's sad is it's not a very well-known movie.
Yeah.
When it came out, it kind of got pushed under the radar. It didn't have a very long theatrical run. I saw it in the theater.
It came out at that time where Westerns were on a steep decline.
Yes.
And like these big, flashy, Matrix-style, over-the-top action movies were on a sharp incline.
Yep.
And so people were going to see these sci-fi, Tomb Raider, those kind of movies. They weren't going to go and see Robert Duvall and Kevin Costner in this.
It's such a shame. Such a great movie. But R.I.P. Robbie.
We didn't even talk about Tom Hagen. Tom Hagen is the only reason I like the Godfather series, because he's the character I connect to the most.
See, I would agree with. I love him in the movies. I love, to me, the main draw for the Godfather movies is watching Pacino's arc.
Yeah.
I'm not counting the third either, just the first two movies. Watching his arc in those movies and his his just quiet, intense, and then he explodes kind of acting. But Hagen you're right, he's our connection into that because he's an outsider. He's not really a violent man.
He does
violent things.
He's been allowed to be part of the family.
Yes.
But he also serves a role, and while he's seen as a member of the family, there is still a soft but tacit disconnect between being part of the family and being in the family.
Yep.
And I just love, it's moments like him being like, okay, Corleone told me to go and get this movie producer in line, so I'm going to go and have this meeting. I'm going to have this meeting, and it doesn't go well. And I'm not outwardly a violent man, and I don't seem like this is something I want to do, but my boss told me to make him an offer he can't refuse. So I'm going to take his most beloved thing in this world, the thing that he was so distracted from he could barely have a conversation with me, and I'm going to cut off its head and put it in his bed.
Yep.
And it's just like this level of like, listen, I'm not usually the kind of guy to do this, but boss tells me I gotta, so here's a horse head for you. I don't know what to tell you. And it's just like, there's something about that. There's something about being an outsider, but still being like, no, like I owe these people everything. I'm loyal to them, even if it's stuff that I'm not one for. This is their world, and I'm a part of that, so I have to play by their rules.
And that outsider mentality made that scene with him and Pacino, where Pacino hands the family to him, saying, listen, you need to be the one in charge of this right now because of everything that's going on, and calling him a brother, and watching that interaction where Hagen finally feels like, because Sonny always kind of had him on arm's distance, but he feels that sense of, I am part of this family. Like that's awesome. Because he loved The Godfather so much. I mean, he loved Corleone so much that it's like, you're right. It was great. It was great. I mean, he's great. He's great.
Yeah, it turns out, newsflash, Dateline.
Yeah.
Robert Duvall, great actor.
And one of our professors was his worked for his production company.
I forgot that. What's her name? Yeah,
I can't think of her name.
I can't think of her name.
But we did the film
I
festival.
I want to say Marine or something. I can't remember.
But she was his. Yeah. So we heard all the stories about Robert Duvall, how great a human being he was. So that makes me even more happy. Yeah. Because of what a great person in real life he was.
Hey, listen, if your film career starts by acting opposite Gregory Peck,
that's pretty good,
and it goes to 2020,
it's pretty good.
That's a really good career, man.
Yeah.
So. Golf clap for Robert Duvall.
Robert Duvall, you will be missed. I will continue watching your movies until I am planted somewhere. I promise you that.
And if anything, he is a much better cowboy role model than one John Wayne.
Oh, by far.
So we always have that to hang up on.
Yeah, quite a bit. All right, folks. So that was Nerdpod Generations episode 183. Really hope you appreciate and enjoyed everything we talked about. Next week, we will be getting into one of our throw-offs of this week was going to be the new Muppet revival, and we have a lot to talk about with that.
That's a weird... That straight out of Muppet Labs, folks.
This is going to be an Al Spider-Man Homecoming for Mr. Steve. Yeah. Just so you're aware of that. So be prepared. So we'll be talking about that next week. Please be sure to go to nerdpodgen.com. Once again, there is a place where you can send us an email. Let us know what you think of the show. Let us know of any topics you want us to talk about. Nerdpodgen.com. And Al, who does our artwork and music?
Our art is by Kortney Howell. Our music is by Brendan Williams and James Connolly. I am Alfred Judson.
And I am Steve Taylor.
And until next week, friends and enemies, we will be opposite these old people. I have it as Statler and Waldorf.
Yes.
So we'll see you next week,
yes.
friends and enemies.
Peace.